10 signs a girl is secretly checking you out. Proven signs, psychology tricks. What you do speaks so loudly that I cannot hear what you say. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Most men think interest arrives with bright laughter, obvious flirting, and fast compliments. It rarely does. High standard women don't broadcast, they observe. They run quiet tests: how you stand, how you handle space, whether you stay calm or chase validation. They measure consistency, not volume. If you only hunt for attention, you'll miss the signals that matter and give away the frame you didn't know you held. When a woman is secretly checking you out, she's filtering you through ancient wiring, safety, strength, self-control, status, and sincerity. That evaluation happens in glances, pauses, micro moves, and the way she subtly reshapes her environment when you're near. Learn to see it and you stop guessing. You stop over-pursuing. You keep your power. What follows are 10 proven psychological triggers, the quiet tells that reveal interest before a single word is spoken. Understand these, and you'll understand women better. Understand these, and you'll understand yourself. 1. She pretends you're not there, but adjusts her environment. Pay attention. She acts like you don't exist, yet the room mysteriously rearranges around you, and that is the first quiet alarm of interest if you know what to look for. Don't chase noise. Read the micro moves. She shifts her bag to free her torso. She angles a shoulder so a clean sightline opens toward you. She pivots a foot in your direction while pretending to study the menu. She straightens her spine as if to breathe better. She tucks a strand of hair behind one ear, not for vanity, but to uncover her face to the angle where you stand. Be the man who notices the environment, not just the eyes, because in female psychology, direct staring can feel costly while subtle. Deniable signals feel safe. You must see how she slightly increases proximity. One step closer to the bar, a slower walk when passing, a pause by a shelf, so your paths cross without trying, and you must notice how she manages social cover. A friend positioned as a temporary shield. A phone lifted like a prop while her body still opens toward you. A laugh to the room that's a little louder once you're within earshot. That is the test. Can you decode gentle invitations without forcing the moment? Don't mistake a lack of eye contact for a lack of interest. Female psychology rewards attraction that preserves dignity, and these micro-adjustments are low-risk pings, not full-send confessions. She might set her drink down on the side closest to you, exposing the inside of the wrist, a classic trust. Cue, or casually remove a jacket to reveal posture and silhouette, not to perform, but to let you see enough to evaluate. She'll create small windows of time, lingering at the condiment station, waiting a beat before exiting, leafing through a magazine longer than necessary, because openings are invitations. You must meet them with calm dominance. Slow your breath, square your frame, shoulders back, chin level, weight evenly planted, eyes soft, mouth relaxed. Don't fidget, don't over. Smile, don't rush to fill silence. Be composed, be observant, be selective. That is how you flip the dynamic from pursuit to assessment. Here's where psychology tricks meet character. Your stillness is a magnet because it signals you're not starving for validation. Female psychology reads that stillness is strength and strength is safety. She'll adjust the scene again to check if you noticed. A slight hip shift to widen stance, a mirror of your lean. A synchronized sip of a repositioned tote. That clears her torso like opening a door. You must honor the signal without exposing her. Catch a 2-second glance when she's not mid-conversation. Let a small smile form and fade. Hold eye contact for just long enough to anchor, then release. Don't perform. Don't interrogate her with your stare. Don't rush over like you've been waiting all week. That is scarcity. Your time and attention are valuable, and the frame is yours. If you choose to engage, let your opener reference the environment she curated. You picked the quietest corner, smart, or good call on shifting away from the draft. It's freezing over there. Psychology tricks aren't lines. They're calibrations, tone low, pace unhurried, volume matched to distance. Be the man who speaks like he already belongs in the space. You must protect her deniability. Never call out the signal itself. I saw you looking. Never tease in a way that corners her. Never break the social fabric she used to feel safe. Female Psychology thrives on the dance, not the audit. If you're wondering how to fall in love the right way, start by mastering respect inside attraction, moment by moment, cue by cue. Don't confuse restraint with passivity. Restraint is power directed. That is what separates a boy chasing attention from a high value man selecting connection. And if you want practical psychology tricks you can use tonight, do three things: stand like you're unhurried, speak like you're unrushed, and let your eyes do the minimum necessary to show intent. You must remember that how to fall in love, real, lasting, adult love, often begins with confidence at tiny details, because tiny details are how trust is tested in public. Be the man who reads the room and leaves her dignity intact. Don't try to game her. Use psychology tricks as awareness, not manipulation. That is the paradox. When you see her without exposing her, she feels safe enough to meet you halfway. And if you've ever asked yourself how to fall in love without losing self-respect, this is the first lesson. Notice the environment, control your presence, invite softly. Female psychology hears calm as confidence, and confidence as I choose, I don't chase. You must carry that frame from first glance to first word, because the right woman isn't auditioning for your attention. She's arranging the stage to see if you're worthy of hers. 2. She uses another guy to gauge your reaction. This is one of the oldest psychology tricks in female psychology, and most men miss it completely. When a girl is secretly checking you out, but hasn't quite figured out where to place you, she won't always come at you directly. Instead, she brings another man into the frame, not because she actually wants him, but because she wants to see how you react. This isn't about jealousy in the childish sense. It's not. Does he get mad if I talk to another guy? It's about dominance calibration. Her subconscious is running a test. If I drop another male into his orbit, does he crumble or does he stay unshaken? That's because a true high-value man doesn't flinch at competition. He doesn't fight for scraps. He radiates abundance and certainty. Picture this. She's laughing at some other guy's joke. She tilts her body ever so slightly in his direction. Maybe she brushes his arm in a light, playful way. To the untrained eye, it looks like flirting. But if you panic here, you fail. If you snap your head away, cross your arms, or suddenly try to reclaim her attention, you reveal insecurity. You show that your masculine energy is fragile. That is exactly what she is testing. Don't fall for the trap. Don't compete for crumbs. Be the man who holds his frame. Think of it like a lion in the wild. The lion doesn't panic if another animal struts nearby. He doesn't chase after every challenger to prove himself. He knows who he is. He knows the pride belongs to him. That unshakable energy is what truly attracts women. Evolution has wired them not to chase the strongest arms, but the strongest presence, the man who cannot be rattled, who is calm in the storm. That is the essence of masculine energy. When she pulls this move, the right answer isn't to glare at the other guy or try to outshine him. That only shows you're playing on his level. The right move is to remain grounded, slightly amused, and absolutely unmoved. Smile if you want. Keep your posture relaxed. Stay engaged with your surroundings, not locked on her or him. In that moment, you're not reacting, you're deciding. And she feels it. She feels the quiet gravitational pull of a man who doesn't need to fight for attention because attention naturally bends toward him. That's how a high-value man operates. Let's be honest. Most men fail this test. They let insecurity take over. They start competing with jokes, raising their voice, or giving the silent treatment. And in doing so, they reveal exactly what she suspected, that they're fragile, that their attraction is shallow, that they can't hold space like a man. But the man who passes this test, he becomes unforgettable. He demonstrates that he can handle pressure, handle competition, and still remain rooted. That's the kind of stability women are drawn to, because in a chaotic world, stability is gold. Here's the kicker. This test isn't really about the other guy at all. He's just a prop in her play. The real spotlight is on you. She's reading your micro-reactions, your body language, your energy. And if you can stay cool, calm, and centered, you send her subconscious one powerful message: I'm unshakable. That is what makes her lean closer. That is what makes her feel drawn into your orbit, even against her own logic. Because attraction is never logical, it's primal, magnetic, undeniable. So remember this rule: don't compete, don't chase, don't let another man's presence knock you off your frame. Be still, be rooted, be amused, even. When you show that level of composure, you don't just attract women, you command their respect. You prove that your masculine energy is rare, and rare things are always desired. As the Stoics would say, control yourself, not the world. And when you live like that, she isn't just checking you out anymore. She's already caught in your gravitational field. 3. She changes her rhythm to match yours. Most men never notice it, but one of the most powerful proven signs a woman is secretly checking you out is when she changes her rhythm to match yours. And this is not coincidence. This is psychology at work. When her steps slow down to your pace, when her breathing unconsciously syncs with yours in conversation, when her gestures begin to mirror your cadence, it is not just simple imitation, it is primal rhythm attunement, the deep biological test of compatibility that dates back to our tribal roots. Old Stoic wisdom reminds us the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts, Marcus Aurelius, and when a woman's nervous system naturally aligns with your rhythm, it means she feels emotional safety, cohesion, and a pull toward your world. That is the leverage, that is the sign. Don't ignore it, don't dismiss it as small. She won't even know she is doing it, but you must recognize it and hold your ground. This is where Stoicism win comes into play, maintaining your frame, never breaking your pace, never surrendering your rhythm to hers. An iron mind knows that leadership is not about chasing or adjusting. It is about setting the tempo and letting others follow. If you speed up or slow down to match her, you lose the silent dominance that nature has just handed you. Stay centered. Stay steady. That is how you project masculine presence without a word. In modern life, this applies beyond attraction. Think about business negotiations, social dynamics, or even your family interactions. Whoever sets the rhythm sets the frame. Women, colleagues, even adversaries feel it on a subconscious level. The old Stoic wisdom tells us that power comes not from chasing, but from holding your ground. When you maintain your tempo, you become the man who cannot be swayed, the man others align with. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself," and here lies the test. Can you control your rhythm, or do you let others dictate your pace? Victory in love, life, and leadership requires the iron mind to hold firm. Let her adapt, let her fall into your tempo, let her feel the alignment and the chemistry it creates, but never break your flow. Because the moment you recognize this hidden psychology trick, you unlock a deeper level of influence. You stop chasing signs and start embodying them. That is how attraction is built. That is how respect is won. And that is how you master life itself, by becoming the rhythm others cannot resist syncing with. If you found this insight powerful, hit that like button and subscribe for more psychology tricks that reveal the truth about female psychology and how to fall in love with confidence. To lock this in your mind, comment the affirmation below: I maintain my rhythm and women align to me. 4. She softens her tone when speaking to you. When a woman softens her tone around you, that's not random. It's one of the clearest signs buried deep in female psychology that she's secretly checking you out. And if you understand this, you can use it as one of the most powerful psychology tricks in the game of attraction. Notice how her voice, when she speaks to you compared to others, becomes gentler, warmer, almost musical, even though she doesn't realize she's doing it. That subtle vocal shift is not performance, it's biology. It's how attraction has been wired into women for thousands of years, signaling femininity, openness, and submission to a masculine presence she feels drawn to. This is where most men fail. They hear softness and mistake it for friendliness, so they slip into the nice guy role and kill the spark before it's born. Don't make that mistake. Be the high-value man who recognizes it for what it is: a quiet invitation, a cue of interest, and don't overcompensate with extra attention or nervous energy. Be calm, be steady, be amused but detached. Because when you don't chase that softness, you strengthen the masculine-feminine polarity, and that's what makes her feel claimed, not coddled. That's how you attract women, by holding your ground, not by scrambling for validation. Think about it. She may not even speak directly to you. She might be talking to her friend right next to you, yet her voice lowers and softens in your presence. That's because her nervous system reacts to your energy before her mind does, proving that attraction is energy, not logic. Female psychology is full of these unconscious tells, and if you master how to read them, you unlock the deeper game of how to fall in love, not through chasing or forcing, but through recognition, presence, and strength. Don't confuse softness with friendship. Don't give away your power by mirroring it with neediness. That is how you separate yourself from average men who miss the signs. You must understand this. When her voice softens, she doesn't just want to be heard. She wants to feel the gravity of your presence, and if you hold steady, she feels it. Aristotle once said, "The soul never thinks without a picture," and in modern life, this means her emotions respond first to the energy you project, not the words you say. So let your silence, your poise, your masculine energy speak louder than any flattery ever could. This is one of those psychology tricks that seem invisible but carry massive weight, because once you see it, you'll never unsee it. And once you master it, you'll understand that attraction isn't built in grand gestures or loud signals, but in quiet biological cues that whisper louder than words. If you want to know how to fall in love and make her fall for you, start by mastering this awareness. Don't chase the softness, embody the strength that makes it come alive. 5. She forgets to look away, but only for a split second. This is the kind of sign only a high-value man will notice, because it's quick, almost invisible, and buried under layers of female psychology. You're not going to catch it if you're desperate, distracted, or too busy showing off. A woman who is secretly checking you out often betrays herself in those milliseconds when instinct takes over strategy. She holds your gaze just a fraction too long, her pupils widen, her face freezes for that tiny beat before she overcorrects and looks away. That is her limbic system firing before her prefrontal cortex can slam the brakes. In other words, her body has already admitted what her mind is trying to hide: attraction. Science calls this a neural delay loop, but you don't need to be a neuroscientist to recognize it. You just need to be calm, present, and carrying masculine energy that doesn't flinch. Don't mistake this sign for an invitation to pounce. Most men do, and that's why they lose the game. They grin too wide, wave too fast, lean in too eager. Wrong move. Be sharper. Be colder. When you see her caught in that vulnerable moment, don't chase it, own it. Notice her slip, then disengage first. That's how a high-value man takes the power back. Because attraction isn't about begging for attention, it's about making her realize she's the one slipping out of control. When you hold eye contact for just long enough to show you noticed, then calmly break it and go back to your own mission, you become the mystery she can't solve. And mystery is gasoline on the fire of desire. Think about it. If you can see through her mask and still walk away, you're not just a man in her eyes. You're the man who didn't need validation. That's rare. That's dangerous. That's unforgettable. Women are wired to be drawn to the man who doesn't collapse under the weight of her beauty, but stands tall in his own frame. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Apply that here. Control yourself, and you'll control how she feels about you. Don't let her glance trick you into neediness. Use it as proof that your masculine energy is working. Attraction isn't always loud. Sometimes it's in the silence of that half-second freeze. Sometimes it's in the way she diverts her eyes too quickly, pretending she never looked in the first place. And if you can recognize those subtle signals without reacting like every other man, you'll attract women in a way that feels inevitable to them. She'll replay that tiny mistake over and over, obsessing about the man who saw her unguarded and yet refused to be conquered. That's how you build the frame of a high-value man. That's how you make her lean into you without a single word. So, the next time you catch her pupils widen before she looks away, don't smile like a boy who got lucky. Be the man who sees it, understands it, and keeps walking. That is how to attract women, not with noise, but with silence, not with chasing, but with restraint. Remember this: masculine energy isn't proven by reacting, it's proven by holding your ground. And when you do, she won't just notice you, she'll crave you. If this opened your eyes, hit like, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more real psychology tricks. Comment to remember power is in noticing and walking away. 6. She fixates on a non threatening object between you. When a woman is secretly checking you out but doesn't want you to catch her in the act, she'll use something neutral to mask her attention: her phone, a coffee cup, a menu, even a random detail in the room. It's a decoy, not for you, but for her own safety. By anchoring her gaze to something harmless, she creates the perfect cover to let her eyes wander back to you without exposing her interest. Old Stoic wisdom reminds us that what stands in the way becomes the way. She uses that small object as her shield, yet through it, she reveals the very thing she's trying to hide: curiosity. Don't be fooled by the distraction. Be alert. That is the signal. Women fear exposure more than rejection, and when she hides behind objects, she's asking a silent question. Is this man sharp enough to notice my subtle moves? And does he have the iron mind to stay composed when he does? In today's world, where people bury themselves in screens, the phone in her hand may not be just a phone. It may be the window through which she studies you. Your job is not to overreact, not to stare back like a boy desperate for attention. Your job is to stand firm, grounded, calm. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you notice her glancing through that object, acknowledge it silently, then carry on as if nothing happened. That shows dominance. That shows restraint. That shows you live by Stoicism win. Women are not impressed by men who panic at every glance. They are drawn to the man who notices everything yet is enslaved by nothing. Don't mistake her fear of exposure for lack of interest. Don't chase. Don't crumble. Let her feel safe in her curiosity, and she'll lean closer. She will test you with subtlety, and if you pass the test, you win her respect. That is the victory of a man with an iron mind. In modern life, distractions are everywhere, but real presence is rare. You must be the man who reads the unseen, who stays strong when tested, who carries himself with quiet power. That's what makes you unforgettable. Remember this: the object she fixates on isn't blocking her attraction, it's pointing directly to it. See it, understand it, master it. And in doing so, you master not just women, but yourself. That is how Stoicism win becomes your way of life. 7. She acts polite but follows subtle commands. When a woman acts polite but follows your subtle commands, it's not random courtesy, it's female psychology at work, one of the oldest psychology tricks hidden in plain sight. And if you pay attention, you'll see it's one of the clearest signs of attraction. When you say, "You can sit there," and she does so immediately, or when you say, "Hold on," and she pauses without resistance, she's not just being agreeable, she's testing your presence, your leadership, your calm authority. Because women don't fall in love with chaos, they fall in love with strength, certainty, and the masculine energy that does not need to shout to be felt. Her nervous system, hardwired by thousands of years of female psychology, is designed to respond to leadership that feels natural, not forced, and every time she complies effortlessly, her brain releases dopamine, rewarding her with a subtle sense of safety and excitement that makes her lean in further without even realizing it. But here's the danger. If you mirror her compliance with over-accommodation, if you start bending to her every word to appear nice, you flip the polarity and the spark dies instantly, because attraction is not about being her servant, it's about being her anchor. And that is the deepest psychology trick men fail to see. You must remain grounded, calm, and direct, giving low-stakes directional statements like, "Let's sit here," or "We'll take this path," then simply observe her reaction, and when she follows. Without hesitation, don't gloat, don't brag, don't turn it into ego, because the true power is in silent authority. This is how you make her feel that craving for your presence. This is how you show her that you're not just another man chasing approval, but a high-value man who knows how to attract women naturally without games. Remember, in modern life where men are often taught to over-explain and over-please, The man who can lead lightly but firmly is the man who stands out because leadership is not about control. It's about direction, and women are drawn to it like gravity. So don't confuse compliance with coincidence. Don't downplay it as politeness. Understand it for what it is, her subconscious way of asking. Can I trust this man's lead? And when you answer with quiet confidence, you don't just show her how to fall in love, you give her the experience of love itself. Psychology tricks work because they reveal what logic cannot. Female psychology is not about words. It's about energy, responsiveness, and trust. And when you master this, you stop chasing and start attracting. You stop trying to prove yourself and start being yourself. And in that shift, women don't just respect you, they crave you. And if you recognize this subtle test of leadership, drop a comment right now. I lead with calm authority. Like this video, subscribe for more proven psychology tricks, and remember, true attraction isn't forced, it's earned through grounded presence. 8. She mentions something you haven't said out loud. When a woman mentions something about you that you never said out loud, you must pay attention because that's not small talk, that's strategy. It's rare, but when it happens, it's one of the clearest signs she's secretly checking you out. She may casually say, "You seem like the type who doesn't care what people think," or "You look like you work with your hands." On the surface, it looks like a random guess, but underneath, it's psychology at work. Women rarely gamble without reason. She's already been studying you, quietly forming a picture in her mind of who you are. This isn't a compliment, it's a test. And as a high-value man, you must understand this. When women are drawn to you, their emotions crave logic. Their attraction needs a story. So she starts creating a narrative that makes her interest feel justified. That is female psychology in motion. Don't dismiss it. Don't over-explain. And don't break character. Think of it like this. She's tossing you a thread, waiting to see if you'll weave it into something that matches her imagination. If she calls you a troublemaker, don't rush to deny it with nervous explanations. That kills the spark. Instead, smile with that masculine energy that women can't resist and simply say, "Would that be a problem?" That response does three things at once. It keeps the mystery alive, it signals confidence, and it subtly invites her to invest further. You're not trying to convince her, you're letting her convince herself. Remember, women are storytellers when it comes to attraction. The moment she imagines who you are, she's already emotionally engaged. Your role as a man who knows how to attract women is not to hand her every answer, but to give just enough so her curiosity grows stronger. Psychology tricks like these remind you that attraction isn't built on grand gestures or endless validation. It's built on subtle signals, on unspoken energy. That is why you must never fall into the trap of over-explaining yourself. When you do, you destroy the scarcity that makes you valuable. A high-value man doesn't explain, he embodies. He doesn't give everything away, he lets her earn the right to discover it. That is how masculine energy works. It creates tension, mystery, and respect. And tension, gentlemen, is the currency of desire. So, the next time she mentions something you never told her, recognize the deeper meaning. It's not a coincidence. It's a pre-investment signal, proof that she's already been evaluating you in silence. She wants to believe her attraction is smart, not reckless. She wants the story in her mind to match the reality standing in front of her. Be congruent. Be calm. Be mysterious. Because when you master this, you stop being the man who chases for approval and become the man who naturally attracts women. And in that moment, you'll see that the real power doesn't come from what you say, it comes from what you leave unsaid. 9. She mocks you lightly, then watches closely. She mocks you lightly, then watches like a hawk. That is not rejection. That is selection pressure. That is status probing through humor, one of the oldest female strategies, and if you understand it, you win. If you flinch, you fail. Old Stoic wisdom teaches this clearly. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Epictetus. She teases because she feels something and displaces that emotion into play. She tests because she wants to see whether your internal world is steady under heat. Don't get defensive. Don't explain. Don't audition. You must hold frame. You must breathe, pause, and let silence do some of the talking. That is the move. She's not grading your punchlines, she's grading your composure. Old Stoic wisdom says emotions are information, not commands, so receive the signal and decide your response. A calm look, a half smile, a measured reply, and a relaxed body say more than a paragraph ever could. In modern life, this plays out everywhere. On a date when she throws a playful jab, in a group chat when she tags you with a wink, on social media when she pokes fun beneath your post, even at work when she tests a boundary in front of others. Don't swat at the bait. Let the line tighten, then you steer. Example, she says, "Nice shirt. Did your mom pick it?" You smirk. She has excellent taste, or dangerous question. You might start agreeing with her. Short, playful, unshaken. When she delays text to see if you chase, you keep your rhythm. When she exaggerates a flaw to see if you wobble, you keep your center. This is the iron mind in action: slow breathing, still eyes, warm voice. Build that iron mind in the small frictions of the day: traffic, tech glitches, rude comments. If you can't handle light teasing, how will you handle social pressure, real danger, or rejection? As Marcus Aurelius put it, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Old Stoic wisdom is practical: control the controllables, ignore the noise, choose the response. That is how Stoicism win becomes your default, not by coldness, but by cheerful steadiness. Let's be clear, the mocking isn't the move, the watching is. She studies the delay before your answer, the ease in your shoulders, the steadiness in your tone. She's measuring whether being with you feels safe, fun, and led, or chaotic, needy, and reactive. You must make pressure look like play. Smile with your eyes, not just your mouth. Keep your sentences short. Limit your words when your pulse is high. A well-placed silence beats a scramble of explanations. Don't try to impress, invite. Don't posture, position. Don't chase, choose. When you respond, aim for light reversals. Careful, compliments in disguise are still compliments. Or a raised eyebrow and noted, then pivot the conversation forward. That is composure. In texting, avoid writing essays to justify yourself. Reply when you're centered, not when you're spun up. In groups, never compete for laughs. Own the room by owning your breath. With family or colleagues, be the thermostat, not the thermometer. Set the temperature. Don't react to it. This is Stoicism win again. You lead with state, not speeches. Remember Seneca's line: "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Most men self-sabotage not because of her words, but because of the story they tell themselves after the tease. Kill that story. Replace it with the iron mind story: I am steady. I am amused. I am in no rush. Old Stoic wisdom repeats the lesson from every angle. Separate what you control from what you don't. Act on the first, ignore the second. You must also calibrate. Playful does not mean cruel. Precision matters. Keep your banter warm, never cutting. Reward her playfulness with presence, not punishment. If the teasing crosses your values, set a boundary with clarity and kindness. I like sharp humor, not sharp edges. That is strength, not sulking. And when you win the micro moment, when you rise without flinching, she doesn't just feel playful, she feels gently outclassed, drawn into your gravity. The attraction builds because you're calm under fire signals future reliability under life's bigger fires. Let's make this practical today. Lift for posture and breath. Journal to empty reactivity. Practice one beat of silence before you answer. Choose one playful line you can deliver without effort. Refuse the urge to explain yourself. Do this in the gym, in meetings, on dates, in messages. Reps build reflex. Reflex becomes identity. Identity is the iron mind others feel before you speak. When the tease comes, welcome it. Pressure makes diamonds is cliche, but the principle stands. Pressure reveals who's real. Don't fold. Don't chase. Don't defend. You must hold frame, play lightly, and lead the energy forward. That is how you live the Stoicism win mindset in the real world, where every glance, comment, and pause is data. That is how you turn tests into trust, friction into flow, and interest into investment. Build your iron mind, practice old Stoic wisdom, embody Stoicism win, and watch how the game starts playing in your favor. 10. She avoids you, but stays in your orbit. The final and most deceptive sign a woman is secretly checking you out is when she avoids you, yet never truly leaves your orbit. You see her across the room. She doesn't approach. Maybe she even steps away when you enter, but moments later she drifts back into your space, pretending it's pure coincidence. This is not random. This is orbiting behavior, and in female psychology, it runs deep. Women have evolved with subtle strategies to protect their egos from direct rejection while still signaling desire. Desire doesn't vanish, it adapts. She wants to engage, but the risk of rejection is too costly, so she finds a middle ground, visible enough to be noticed, distant enough to stay safe. That's why she'll position herself within your line of sight, walk past you more than once without a word, or suddenly laugh louder when you're near, hoping the sound hooks your attention. Psychology tricks like this are not clumsy accidents. They are ancient strategies of attraction. Don't underestimate them. You must understand, this is not insecurity, it's strategic vulnerability. By orbiting you, she's creating tension, testing whether you'll recognize her silent pull. In female psychology, indirectness is often power. The woman who orbits is signaling interest without sacrificing dignity. She is saying, I want to be seen, but I refuse to chase. This is where most men fail. They either ignore it completely or confront it head-on with clumsy questions. Are you following me? Don't ever do that. Don't call her out. Don't strip her of the game she's trying to play. Attraction thrives on mystery, on polarity, on energy. If you expose the tactic too soon, you killed a rhythm before it ever builds. So, what must you do? First, recognize the orbit for what it is. Make eye contact once, not twice, not 3 times once. A single look says, I see you. Then, re-engage fully with your own life. Stay in command of your frame. The man who chases attention loses it. The man who holds attention without effort commands it. If she comes back again, now you know this is no accident. If she orbits 3 times or more, it's not random. It's female psychology shouting in silence, I'm interested, but I need you to anchor the polarity. This is where the high-value man separates himself from the average. Don't be reactive, be intentional. When you finally approach, do it with the energy of inevitability, like the script was already written and you're simply stepping into your role. Speak with the calm confidence of a man who understands psychology tricks, who knows exactly how to fall in love with reality instead of illusions. Don't fumble, don't over-explain. The high-value man doesn't act surprised by female attention, he expects it. That energy of masculine certainty transforms her orbit into gravitational pull. Suddenly, she doesn't just feel noticed, she feels chosen. She doesn't just feel liked, she feels claimed. This is the secret. Orbiting behavior is not weakness, it's attraction wrapped in strategy. Modern men often miss this because they expect loud signals, big smiles, obvious flirting, direct compliments. But women, especially women of depth, play a quieter game. As Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If you think attraction is always obvious, you'll miss the subtle signs. But if you train your eye, if you master these psychology tricks, you'll see that her orbit is not random, it's intentional. Be decisive. Be disciplined. Don't chase noise, recognize patterns. Don't fall into the trap of overthinking. The high-value man doesn't panic when he notices orbiting, he anchors. He lets her dance around his gravity, then he chooses the moment to engage. That is how to fall in love with the game without losing yourself in it. Remember, energy, not logic, drives attraction. Orbiting is her way of saying, I feel the pull, but I need you to lead. Lead with strength, not neediness. Lead with presence, not pressure. That is the true art of masculine energy. All right, my friends, thanks for staying with me until the end. Remember, women don't always send signals with flashing lights and loud words. Many times, it's the quiet, subtle psychology tricks hidden in her actions that reveal the truth. Don't waste your energy chasing confusion. Learn to read the signs with confidence. My advice is simple. Don't overthink. Don't doubt yourself. Be calm, observe, and carry yourself like the man she can overlook. That is how you truly master female psychology and how to fall in love the right way. If you're done asking what women want and ready to become what she can't ignore, hit that like button and subscribe.